A tiny German Shepherd puppy appeared to the blizzard at 7 p.m., collapsing against Ranger Eden Hayes' station door. The scratching was frantic, desperate claws against frozen wood. When Eden opened the door, his breath caught. The puppy, no more than 8 pounds, was covered in blood. Not its own, but its mother's. The creature's paws were raw, bleeding from an impossible journey. Eden's 12 years as a ranger told him this puppy had traveled miles through sub-zero temperatures alone. The brown eyes locked onto his, pleading with an intelligence that made his chest tighten. Then it grabbed his glove with needle teeth and pulled, tugging Eden behind. The radio crackled. A woman's voice, elderly and breaking. "They took my babies. Bella never came home." The puppy released his glove, turned toward the wide-out wilderness, and looked back. Eden had seconds to choose, protocol or instinct. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments, along with the city you're watching from. Now, let's continue with the story. Eden Hayes had built his entire life on rules. At 38, with graying temples and weathered hands, he'd spent 12 years as a ranger in Rocky Mountain National Park. Every day was measured, controlled, predictable. Before that, 7 years in the military as AK-9 handler. Structure was oxygen. Protocol was survival. 3 years ago, his wife, Emma, died on these same mountains. She'd broken protocol, chasing a distress call during a storm, trying to save a lost hiker. Eden found her body 2 days later, frozen beneath a cliff she'd rappelled without proper equipment, without backup, without following the rules that would have kept her alive. He'd made a promise over her grave: never again. No more instinct over procedure. No more heart over head. Since then, Eden existed rather than lived. His ranger station sat 8 miles from the nearest town, surrounded by a wilderness that felt more like a prison than freedom. He ate meals from packets, spoke only when necessary, and kept every interaction professional, cold, safe. Animals were part of his job. Injured deer, aggressive bears, lost livestock. He handled them with competence, but no connection. His old K-9 partner, Rex, a German shepherd who'd served with him overseas, had died 6 months before Emma, losing both in the same year, had cauterized something inside him. Now this puppy stood in his doorway, demanding he break every rule again. The elderly woman on the radio was Margaretchen, Maggie, 72 years old, living alone in a cabin Eden passed during monthly patrols. Her only son, Michael, had died in Afghanistan 3 years ago. The timing struck Eden. It was the same year he lost Emma. Grief recognized grief, even through static. Maggie's German shepherd, Bella, had been Michael's final gift before deployment. Eden knew this because Maggie told him every time they spoke, her voice carrying that particular loneliness of someone who'd lost everything and now clutched desperately at what remained. For puppies, 6 weeks old, stolen sometime after midnight, Bella had vanished, chasing whoever took them. The puppy at Eden's feet whimpered, a sound so heartbreaking it bypassed his defenses entirely. This was Max. He somehow knew, the smallest of the litter, the one who'd escaped, the one who'd run 8 miles through killing cold to find help. Eden's training screamed at him: secure the animal, call wildlife rescue, wait for the team. Backup was 25 minutes away. Proper procedure meant safety, meant following the rules that should have saved Emma. But Max was already running back into the blizzard, stopping every few yards to look back with those impossibly intelligent eyes. And Eden remembered Emma's last words, written in a letter he'd found later. "Don't stop living because I stopped. Eden, promise me." He grabbed his emergency pack and followed the puppy into the storm. Eden's radio crackled as he strapped on his emergency pack. "Eden, this is dispatch. Weather service upgraded the storm warning. You have 90 minutes before zero visibility. Acknowledge." "Acknowledge," Eden responded, his breath forming clouds in the frozen air. "Responding to emergency situation. Requesting backup at my 20. Proceeding north toward Dead Man's Ridge. Backup ETA 25 minutes. Eden, protocol says." "I know the protocol." He switched off the radio. Max was already 50 yards ahead, a tiny dark shape against endless white. The puppy moved with purpose despite exhaustion, stopping every few seconds to ensure Eden followed. Snow fell in thick curtains, the temperature hovering at 15 below zero. Eden's boots crunched through 2 feet of powder, each step requiring effort that would exhaust him within an hour. But Max had made this journey alone. 8 miles on paws barely larger than quarters. The thought pulled Eden forward. They crossed the open meadow behind the ranger station, entering the tree line where ancient pines stood like silent witnesses. Here, the snow was slightly shallower, sheltered by branches, but the wind cut through Eden's jacket like knives. He checked his pack, Medical supplies, emergency blanket, rope flares, standard rescue kit, probably inadequate for whatever waited ahead. Max suddenly stopped, nose to the ground. Eden caught up, breathing hard. Dark spots stained the snow. Blood, not much, droplets, not pools, but fresh within the last 6 hours. Eden knelt, examining the scene with trained eyes. Boot prints, size 12, pressed deep into the snow. Recent, a man, heavy, moving quickly. Drag marks parallel to the prints suggested something being pulled. The tracks led north, the same direction Max was heading. Then Eden saw them. For small dog collars lying scattered in the snow like discarded evidence. He picked one up, reading the tag with his flashlight. Scout. The next, Ranger. Then Duke Jr. and Hope, Maggie's puppies. Someone had cut these collars off. Why? To prevent identification. To eliminate anything that could trace the dogs back to their owner. Eden's jaw tightened. This wasn't a random crime. This was calculated. More blood nearby, partially covered by fresh snowfall. Eden touched it, frozen solid. But the color was wrong. Too dark. Not canine blood. Human. Eden's ranger instincts sharpened. Someone was injured out here. The thief or someone else. Max whimpered urgently, pawing at Eden's leg. The puppy's message was clear. No time for investigation. Bella was dying. Eden pocketed one of the collars as evidence and pressed forward. The terrain grew treacherous, sloping upward toward Dead Man's Ridge. A granite outcropping notorious for rock slides and hidden crevasses. In summer, it was dangerous. In winter, it was potentially lethal. Max slowed down. Eden called, but the puppy accelerated. Driven by something beyond exhaustion or pain, they climbed for another 20 minutes. Eden's lungs burned. His thighs screamed. But Max, 8 pounds of determination, never faltered. Then Eden heard it, a sound that stopped him cold. A dog crying, not barking, crying. The kind of sound that came from profound suffering. Max's ears flattened against the skull. He released a heartbroken whimper and bolted forward with renewed desperation. Eden ran after him. Forgetting caution, forgetting protocol, they crested a small rise, and Eden saw it. A clearing surrounded by jagged rocks. Max stood at the edge, barking frantically down into a crevasse. Eden approached carefully, dropping to his stomach to peer over the edge. 30 feet below, trapped beneath an enormous granite slab, lay Bella. Even from this distance, Eden could see she was dying. Eden's hands shook as he secured the rope around a sturdy pine trunk. Not from the cold, from recognition. He'd seen this exact situation before. Different mountain, different victim, same impossible choice. Emma had been trapped like this. He'd arrived too late. Not this time, he whispered. Max scrambled toward the edge, desperate to reach his mother. Eden caught him gently. You can't help her by falling, buddy. Let me work. He tested the rope, then rappelled down the rocky face. Ice made every handhold treacherous. Twice, his boot slipped, heart lurching as the rope caught him. Max's frantic barking echoed off the stones, a metronome counting down Bella's remaining minutes. Eden reached the bottom, and his medical training immediately cataloged the horror. Bella lay on her side, hind legs pinned beneath a granite slab, easily 800 pounds. Blood pooled beneath her, already freezing into dark ice. Her breathing came in shallow, rapid gasps, classic shot progression. Her eyes, glazed with pain, tracked Eden's movement but showed little recognition. The boulder had crushed her left hind leg completely. Eden could see bone fragments through torn fur. The right leg was compressed but possibly intact. Either way, the pressure had been constant for hours. Muscle death, nerve damage, internal bleeding. His field assessment, 10 minutes, maybe 12, before her heart gave out. Eden keyed his radio with numb fingers. Dispatch, I have a critical victim. German Shepherd, crushed beneath approximately 800-pound boulder. Need immediate heavy equipment and veterinary medevac. Static. Then, Eden, backup is still 15 minutes out. Heavy equipment truck is 35 minutes minimum. Vet team needs to fly from Denver. She doesn't have 35 minutes. Eden's voice cracked. She has 10. Eden, I understand, but there's no way to move that boulder without. He switched off the radio. Bella whimpered. A sound so pitiful Eden's throat tightened. She turned her head with agonizing effort, looking up toward the ridge where Max's silhouette was visible against the gray sky. The mother's message was clear. Say my baby. He's safe, Eden told her, though she couldn't understand words. Max is safe. He brought me to you. Bravest thing I've ever seen. Above, Max somehow began descending. The tiny puppy slipped and slid down the rocks, ignoring danger. Driven by love stronger than instinct, he reached the bottom and immediately crawled to his mother's face, licking her muzzle, crying. Bella's tail gave one weak thump. Her eyes brightened slightly. Eden's vision blurred. He wiped his face, tears already freezing. Get it together. Think. You're a trained rescuer. Find a solution. He examined the boulder from every angle. Solid granite. No cracks. No weak points. He found a thick branch nearby, wedged it beneath the rock's edge for leverage, positioned himself, gripped the makeshift lever, and pulled with everything he had. His muscles screamed. Tendons felt like they would snap. The wood groaned. The boulder didn't move even a fraction of an inch. Eden collapsed backward, gasping. Physically impossible. The math didn't work. He weighed 185. Could generate maybe 300 pounds of force with the lever. The boulder required at minimum 1,200 pounds to shift. He tried again. Anyway, same result. Bella's breathing slowed further. 8 minutes left. Maybe less. Eden's mind raced through options. Wait for backup. She dies. Try to dig her out. Frozen ground. No time. She dies. Amputate the leg. No proper tools. She bleed out. She dies. Every scenario ended the same way. He thought of Emma, how he'd arrived at her broken body, knowing if he'd been there 20 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier, if he'd broken protocol and chased after her, instead of calling for backup first, a sound interrupted his spiral. Footsteps crunching through snow above. Eden's hand went instinctively to his service weapon. Who else would be out here in this storm? The thief returning? A figure appeared at the ridge edge, backlit by gray sky. Military posture, carrying something heavy. The figure began descending, and Eden's blood turned colder than the air around him. He recognized that gait, that silhouette. Impossible. Marcus. Eden's voice barely whispered. Marcus Kane. Marcus Kane stood 20 feet away. Older and harder than Eden remembered. The same sharp jaw, now covered with an unkempt beard. The same military bearing, but weighted with something broken. He carried a hydraulic jack in one hand and a tire iron in the other. Eden's weapon cleared its holster. Don't move. Hands where I can see them. Marcus slowly raised both hands, tools visible. Eden, I knew you'd come. The puppy. I saw him running toward your station. You're the one who stole the puppies. Eden's voice was ice. You did this to Bella. No. I mean, yes, I took them, but this... Marcus gestured at the trapped dog, anguish crossing his face. This was an accident. I've been trying to free her for 2 hours. I left to get equipment. Eden, please, we don't have time for this. Get on your knees. Now. Marcus didn't comply. Instead, he looked directly at Bella, and something in his expression made Eden's finger hesitate on the trigger. It wasn't the look of a criminal caught. It was the look of a man watching someone he loved die. She's Duke's daughter, Marcus said quietly. The words hit Eden like a physical blow. Duke, Eden whispered. Marcus's K-9 partner, the German shepherd who'd served with them in Afghanistan. The dog who died 8 years ago saving. Michael Chen's unit. Eden finished. Pieces falling into a horrible place. Marcus nodded, tears tracking to the grime on his face. Michael gave me Duke's final litter before Duke died. I placed most of them with veterans who needed them, kept one female, bred her twice. Bella came from Duke's bloodline. When I saw her registry papers 3 months ago, saw Michael's name as previous owner, his voice broke. I didn't know he'd given her to his mother. I swear, Eden, I didn't know. Eden's mind reeled. You've been stealing German shepherds. 23 reported thefts across Colorado. Placing them, Marcus corrected, with veterans, PTSD cases, guys like us who came home broken. I never sold a single dog. Check my records. I keep detailed files. Every dog went to someone who needed them, someone who couldn't afford the $3,000 these breeders charge. That doesn't make it legal. I know, Marcus shouted, the sound echoing off stone. I know it's wrong, but you know what else is wrong? Tyler Bennett eating his gun last year because the VA waitlist for a therapy dog was 18 months. Ashley Morrison sleeping in her car because she spent her disability check on a service dog. Jake, stop. Eden's hand steadied on the weapon. You don't get to justify. Bella gasped. A rattling sound that silenced them both. Max whimpered, pressing his tiny body against his mother's face. Marcus dropped to his knees, not in surrender, but in desperation. Eden, I was there when Michael died. The words hit harder than the wind cutting across the snow. Did you know that? Marcus' voice trembled, hanging in the frozen air. Kandahar province. August 14th, 8 years ago. Eden said nothing. Our convoy hit an ID. Marcus continued, voice hoarse. I was trapped under the vehicle, bleeding out. Michael ran into the kill zone to pull me free. Duke was with me, guarding my position. When insurgents flanked, Duke attacked to protect me. They shot him. Marcus swallowed hard, his voice breaking. Michael threw himself over Duke's body. He took the rounds meant for him. They both died because of me. He exhaled shakily. His last words were, Tell my mom I love her. Take care of Duke's legacy. Marcus's eyes glistened. I promised him, Eden. I promised the dying man. Eden's grip on his weapon slackened. He remembered that mission. He'd already been stateside, discharged. But the name Michael Chin had traveled fast. 24 years old. Posthumous Bronze Star. His K. 9-partner Duke. 5 years old. Posthumous Medal of Courage. So you stole from his mother? Eden's voice was low, hollow. Marcus's expression twisted with guilt. I thought I was saving Duke's bloodline, placing his descendants with warriors who'd appreciate them, who'd need them. He stopped, eyes flicking toward Bella, pinned and bleeding in the snow. I was wrong. I'm a fool. A broken fool who twisted something good into something sick. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a faded Polaroid. Here, he slid it across the snow. Eden picked it up. 3 men in desert fatigues grinned for the camera, arms slung over each other's shoulders despite the brutal Afghan sun. On the left, a younger, unscarred Eden. In the middle, Michael Chin, all baby-faced warmth and courage. On the right, Marcus Kane, smiling like he still believed the world could be saved. At their feet sat 2 German shepherds, Rex and Duke, tongues lolling, eyes bright. On the back, in Michael's handwriting, Brothers Forever, May 2016. Eden's throat tightened. I lost my way after that day. Marcus said quietly. Got discharged. Couldn't keep a job. Couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Michael's face. The VA put me on a wait list for a therapy dog. 18 months. I lasted 6 before I started taking matters into my own hands. You became a criminal, Eden said flatly. I became desperate, Marcus countered. His eyes met Eden's. You know that feeling, don't you? After Emma died, tell me you didn't want to break every rule just to feel again. Eden flinched, because yes, he knew exactly what that felt like. The difference is, I followed protocol, he muttered. But even his own ears, it sounded hollow. Marcus gave a faint, broken smile. And how's that working out for you, Eden? You living or just existing? Bella's breathing hitched. 5 minutes left. Maybe less. Marcus grabbed the hydraulic jack. Hate me later. Arrest me later. Right now. Help me save Duke's daughter. Help me keep the promise I made to Michael. Please. Eden looked down at Max, the tiny puppy who had run 8 miles through a killing storm, refusing to let his mother die alone. Then at Bella, still fighting through the pain. Then at the photo, the 3 brothers who had once believed in something good. What would Emma do? What would Michael want? What would Duke expect? He holstered his weapon. Show me your plan. Relief flooded Marcus's face. The jack can lift 2,000 pounds, but the base needs stable ground. I've been trying alone, but the angle's wrong. If you lever from the opposite side, while I pump, we might get 4 inches of clearance, enough for her to pull free. Exactly. Marcus nodded. They moved fast. Marcus set the jack beneath the boulder's edge, braced on the flattest rock he could find. Eden wedged a thick branch on the opposite side for leverage. 30% success rate, Eden muttered, assessing. If the base shifts, it'll crush her. I know. If we fail, she dies screaming. And you're okay with that? Marcus met his eyes, haunted, resolute. I'm okay with trying. Aren't you tired of playing it safe? While everything you love dies anyway. The words cut deep. Eden gritted his teeth. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Marcus pumped the jack. Hydraulic pressure hissed. Eden heaved on the branch. With groaned, metal shrieked. The boulder shifted. An inch. Bella whimpered. Try to move her leg. Not enough. Again, Eden shouted. Marcus pumped harder. Eden's vision blurred from strain. Every muscle screamed. Another inch. 2 inches total. Still not enough. Then the jack's base began to sink into the snow. We're losing it, Marcus yelled. Wait. Eden released a lever just as the boulder slammed back down. With a gut-wrenching thud, Bella cried out in pain. What are you doing? Marcus gasped. Eden dragged a flat stone over and shoved it under the jack. Better foundation. Reset. Marcus nodded. They repositioned. Eden's arms trembled. His heart thundered in his skull. Marcus met his gaze. For Michael, for Duke, for Bella, for Max. Then, softly, for Emma, Eden swallowed hard and nodded. 3, they pushed together. Synchronized fury against unyielding stone. The branch Eden held creaked, splintering. Marcus winced, his ribs clearly breaking further. But he didn't stop. 1 inch, 2, 3. The boulder groaned. For inches. Bella, pull. Eden screamed. The dog, mustering strength she shouldn't have left, dragged her crushed leg free and slid out just as the branch snapped and the jack slipped. The boulder slammed down, exactly where she'd been seconds before. Both men collapsed in the snow, gasping, laughing, crying. Max scrambled to Bella, covering her face in frantic kisses. Bella, broken but breathing, licked her pup's head once, then went limp. Bella, no! Eden's training took over. He tore open his emergency kit, hands shaking but precise. Stay with me, girl. He wrapped her in a thermal blanket, feeling how dangerously cold her body had become. Her crushed leg was a disaster. Bone fragments protruding, blood soaking the snow. He tightened the belt into a tourniquet above the wound. Marcus, hold her head, keep her airway clear. Marcus obeyed instantly, cradling Bella's head. Her breathing was shallow, erratic, pupils fixed. Eden pressed his fingers to her femoral artery. Weak pulse. 40 BPM. She's crashing. Come on, girl. Don't quit now. He began chest compressions, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Max crawled onto Bella's chest, crying, Max, buddy, I need you to. Eden stopped. The warmth, the contact, the love. Maybe that was helping. Okay, stay. Keep her warm. He worked around the puppy, forcing her heart to keep beating. Marcus whispered to her through clenched teeth. Duke's waiting, Bella, but not yet. Michael's there too. But he'd be angry if you gave up. He gave you to his mom to protect her. You don't get to quit now. 30 compressions. Then Eden checked again, pulse stronger. 50 BPM. Above them, the deep chop of rotor blades. Eden grabbed a flare, struck it, waved it skyward. Orange light bathed the snow in hellish glow. The rescue helicopter circled, then lowered a cable. 2 figures rappelled down, a park ranger and a woman in veterinary uniform. Dr. Emma Martinez. She introduced quickly, kneeling beside Bella. The name hit Eden like fate. Another Emma. Another moment of rescue. Crushed femur. Severe hemorrhage, advanced shock. She diagnosed fast. How long was she trapped? 6 hours, Marcus rasped. Dr. Martinez frowned. We need to move now. Tom Bradley. The ranger suddenly froze. Wait. You're Marcus Kane, the dog thief. We've been looking for you. Later, Eden snapped, stepping between them. Eden, I said later. We have a dying animal and a storm closing in. Jurisdiction can wait. His tone carried the command of a soldier used to being obeyed. Dr. Martinez fitted Bella into a heated rescue stretcher. Someone hold the puppy. He can't stay here. I've got him, Marcus said. He tucked Max into a jacket, zipping it halfway so the puppy's head poked out. Max whimpered but stayed still. One by one, they clipped into the rescue cable. Dr. Martinez and Bella first. Then Eden, Marcus with Max, then Tom. The winch hauled them through the howling snow. Inside the helicopter, the noise was deafening. Dr. Martinez worked fast. For line, pain meds, antibiotics. The pilot's voice came through the headset. Destination? Colorado State Veterinary Hospital, Fort Collins. Dr. Martinez replied. Tell them we're coming in hot. Critical trauma. Eden turned to Marcus. The man sat silent. Max pressed against his neck, tears soaking into the puppy's fur. I'm sorry, Marcus whispered over and over. I'm so sorry. The flight took 18 minutes. They landed on the hospital's emergency pad, where a trauma team waited with a gurney. Bella was rushed inside. Dr. Martinez, shouting medical terminology Eden only partially understood. Max struggled to follow, but Marcus held him firmly. She's getting help, little man. The best help possible. Eden's radio finally crackled with a signal strong enough to transmit. Eden, this is dispatch. We have a situation. Margaret Chin suffered a cardiac event. A neighbor found her collapsed. Ambulance is transporting to Poudre Valley Hospital. Eden's stomach dropped. Her condition stable but critical. The stress. I know. Eden looked at Marcus. Maggie had a heart attack. Marcus's face went pale. Because of me. Because I stole her puppies, and she thought, oh God. Tom Bradley, who'd been standing quietly, finally spoke. Marcus Kane, I'm placing you under arrest for felony theft. He pulled out handcuffs. Tom, wait, Eden started. I can't wait, Eden. 23 counts of stolen animals, now at causing a medical emergency. I'll go, Marcus said quietly. He gently transferred Max into Eden's arms. Take care of him. And when Maggie wakes up, tell her the puppies are safe. They're at my cabin, 2247 Hollow Creek Road, in the basement. They're warm, fed, healthy. I'd never hurt them. You already hurt her, Tom said, cuffing Marcus's wrists. I know. Marcus didn't resist. He looked at Eden. The other 4 puppies, I wasn't selling them. Check my files at the cabin. Every dog I've placed has gone to a veteran struggling with PTSD. No money exchanged, ever. I thought I was honoring Duke and Michael his voice broke, by continuing their service. I was wrong. I see that now. But those veterans, some of them were suicidal before they got their dogs. I have letters. Proof. Tom led him toward the waiting patrol car. Marcus looked back once. Eden, in my cabin, there's a photo album. Michael's Purple Heart is there. I've been keeping it safe for 8 years. trying to figure out how to return to Maggie. Give it to her, please. Then he was gone, placed in the back of the patrol vehicle. Eden stood on the helipad holding Max, watching the taillights disappear into the storm. The puppy whimpered, confused, looking for his mother, his siblings, his familiar world. Everything had been torn apart in one night. Eden understood that feeling completely. A nurse approached. Sir, are you family of the dog being treated? No. But I'm family of the woman who owns her, Margaret Chun. She's in this hospital too. Can I see her? I'll check. The nurse disappeared. Eden looked down at Max. The puppy looked up at him with those impossibly trusting brown eyes. We're going to fix this, Eden promised. Somehow, but he had no idea how. Margaret Chun looked impossibly small in the hospital bed, an oxygen tube beneath her nose, heart monitor beeping steady, but weak. Her silver hair spread across the pillow like a halo. At 72, she'd always seemed strong to Eden, resilient despite loss. Now she looked fragile as paper, her eyes open when he entered. Eden, she whispered, voice raspy. Don't try to talk, Maggie. Save your strength. The babies! Her hand trembled as she reached toward him. Please, tell me. Eden sat beside her bed, still holding Max. He unzipped his jacket, and the puppy's head popped out. Maggie's eyes filled with tears. Max! Oh, Max! She extended a shaking hand, and the puppy licked her fingers desperately. Where are the others? Where's Bella? Eden took a breath. Bella's in surgery. Critical condition. She was trapped under a boulder for hours. We got her free, but her leg... He couldn't finish. Maggie's face crumpled. No, not Bella. She's all I have left of Michael. The other 4 puppies are safe. They were stolen, but they're recovered, warm and healthy yet. He stopped, uncertain how much to reveal, but Maggie's eyes sharpened despite her pain. Stolen by whom? A man named Marcus Kane. The heart monitor's beeping accelerated. Maggie's hand flew to her chest. Marcus Kane, Michael's Marcus. Eden froze. You know him? Know him. Maggie struggled to sit up despite Eden's protests. I've been trying to find him for 3 years, since Michael's funeral. The army said he'd been discharged, but no forwarding address. No contact information. I've left messages at every VA hospital in Colorado. Eden's world tilted. You were looking for him? Why? Maggie reached for the bedside table drawer. Fumbling with weak hands, Eden helped her open it. Inside lay a worn envelope addressed in neat handwriting. Michael's last letter, the one he never mailed. Found it in his belongings. Her voice cracked. Read it, please. Eden opened the envelope with trembling fingers. The letter was dated 3 days before Michael died. Dear Mom, if you're reading this, I didn't make it home. I'm sorry. I know I promised I'd be careful, but I need you to do something for me. It's important. Find Marcus Kane. He's going to blame himself for my death. Whatever happened, I guarantee he thinks it's his fault. That's who Marcus is. He carries the weight of the world. Please tell him I chose to save him. It was my honor. I'd make the same choice 1,000 times. He's a good man with a broken heart. Duke's puppies are his legacy. Those dogs mean everything to him. If something happened to Duke in the same mission, he'll be destroyed. Take care of Marcus like you take care of me. He's my brother, Mom, not by blood, but by every other measure that matters. Love you forever. Michael. Eden's hand shook so badly the paper rattled. Maggie, I don't understand. Marcus has been stealing German shepherds for 2 years, 23 dogs. He broke into your cabin last night, and I should hate him, Maggie finished softly. I know. When the police called this morning, said the puppies were missing, my heart... She touched her chest where the pain had struck. But if Michael asked me to care for Marcus, then that's what I'll do. My son didn't die so I could hold grudges. He traumatized you, put you in this hospital. Fear did that. Loneliness did that. Maggie's eyes were fierce despite their wetness. Eden, I've spent 3 years alone in that cabin. My son is dead. My husband is dead. I have no family left except Bella and her puppies. When I thought they were gone too, my heart just gave up. Max whimpered and crawled from Eden's arms onto Maggie's bed, curling against her side. She stroked his soft fur with trembling fingers. But Max came back, and you saved Bella. And my grandbabies are safe. She looked at Eden. Where is Marcus now? County jail. Tom Bradley arrested him on site for the thefts. Then I need to drop the charges. Maggie, I need to see him. Eden, I need to tell him what Michael wrote. That boy has been carrying guilt for years, thinking he killed my son. Probably tried to atone by... She paused, understanding blooming. By giving away dogs to veterans. That's what he was doing, wasn't he? Not selling them. Eden thought of Marcus's words in crevasse. The files he'd mentioned, the veterans he'd helped. I think so. Yes. Then he needs to hear Michael's words. He needs to know my son forgave him before there was even anything to forgive. Maggie's voice strengthened. He needs to know he has family, that I've been looking for him, that I'm not angry. I'm grateful someone else loved Michael enough to still be hurting. The hospital room door opened. A nurse entered, then stopped. Mrs. Chun, you have another visitor. He's insisting it's urgent. A man stepped into view behind the nurse. Samuel Rothschild. Eden recognized him from news reports. The wealthy German shepherd breeder whose dog Marcus had stolen 6 months ago. The only victim who'd refused to drop charges. His face was set in hard lines. Mrs. Chun, I need to talk to you about pressing full charges against Marcus Kane. Samuel Rothschild was everything Eden expected from the reports. Expensive suit, perfect silver hair. The bearing of someone accustomed to getting his way. He held a leather briefcase and wore an expression of righteous anger. Mrs. Chun, I'm sorry to intrude while you're recovering, but this can't wait. Rothschild's voice was clipped, professional. I've just learned you're considering dropping charges against Marcus Kane. I'm here to strongly advise against that decision. Maggie's hand tightened on Max. Mr. Rothschild, I appreciate your concern, but do you know what that man did? Rothschild interrupted, pulling documents from his briefcase. He broke into my facility 6 months ago and stole champion Rothschild's Duke 3. A breeding male worth $12,000. That dog represented years of genetic selection, championships, bloodline preservation. Eden noticed Rothschild said, worth $12,000. Not my beloved companion. The distinction felt important. He stole from 22 other families. Rothschild continued. If you drop charges, the prosecution's case weakens. Other victims might follow your lead. Kane could walk with minimal consequences. What consequences do you think are appropriate? Maggie asked quietly. Maximum sentencing. 5 years per count. Served consecutively. He should spend the rest of his productive life in prison. For stealing dogs? Eden said, unable to stay silent. Rothschild turned cold eyes on him for stealing property. The monetary value is irrelevant to the principle. We have laws for a reason. Ranger Hayes. The word struck Eden like a physical blow. How many times had he said exactly that to himself? After Emma died, hadn't he rebuilt his entire existence on that foundation? Laws exist for a reason. Rules prevent tragedy. Protocol over instinct. Mr. Rothschild, Maggie said carefully. Did Marcus sell your dog? No, but that's not the point. Did he hurt your dog in any way? Rothschild hesitated. No. When police recovered Duke 3 from a veteran Kane placed him with, the dog was healthy, well-trained, clearly loved. So, your dog helped a suffering veteran. That veteran didn't pay for him. Did he? Did the veteran benefit from your dog's companionship? Rothschild's jaw tightened. The veteran in question was Jeremy Collins, former Marine. Severe PTSD. His family reported he stopped having suicidal ideations after receiving the dog, but that doesn't excuse theft. Maggie smiled sadly. My son died 3 years ago in Afghanistan, Mr. Rothschild. He was a combat medic, 24 years old. He died saving the man you want to send to prison for life. The room went silent, except for the heart monitor's steady beeping. I didn't know that, Rothschild said, his composure cracking slightly. Marcus Kane blames himself for my son's death, has blamed himself for 8 years. He's been stealing dogs, yes, stealing, which is wrong, but giving them to veterans who reminded him of Michael, who reminded him of the guilt he carries every single day. Maggie's voice strengthened. You want to talk about what's right? What's legal? Fine. Legally, Marcus committed crimes. But morally, he saved Jeremy Collins' life, and probably 22 others. How do you weigh that in your courtroom calculations? Rothschild set his briefcase down heavily. Mrs. Chun, I understand you're emotional. Don't patronize me. Steele entered Maggie's voice. I'm 72 years old. I buried a husband and a son. I almost died this morning thinking I'd lost the last living things I loved. I've earned the right to my emotions. And I've earned the right to forgive someone who needs forgiveness. Eden watched Rothschild's face, saw the moment the man's certainty wavered. 2 years ago, Rothschild said quietly, my wife died. Suicide. I came home from a breeding show and found her in our garage. The confession hung in the air, raw and unexpected. She'd been depressed for years. I was too busy with my dogs, my business, my championships, too busy to notice how bad it had gotten. His voice cracked. When Kane stole Duke 3, I was furious. Not just about the money, about the violation. Someone had broken into my world and taken something I valued. It felt like another loss I couldn't control. He sat down heavily in the visitor's chair. I've been so angry at Kane, at myself, at my wife for leaving. I thought if I could punish Kane, make him pay, it would, I don't know, make something make sense. Maggie reached out her free hand. The one not holding Max, Rothschild stared at it for a long moment, then took it. Hurt people, Maggie said softly. But healed people heal people. Which one do you want to be? Rothschild's eyes filled. I don't know how to be healed. None of us do, Eden heard himself say. Both Maggie and Rothschild looked at him. My wife died 3 years ago, too. Mountain rescue. She broke protocol to save a child and fell. I've spent every day since following rules. So rigidly, I forgot how to live, how to feel. I thought structure would prevent pain. He looked down at Max, the puppy who traveled 8 miles through a blizzard because rules meant nothing compared to love. This morning, a 6-week-old puppy taught me that sometimes breaking the rules is the only way to save what matters. Marcus Kane is broken. He made terrible choices. But he made them trying to honor the memory of fallen friends, try to prevent other people from experiencing the pain that destroyed him. Eden met Rothschild's eyes. Your wife needed help you didn't know how to give. Marcus needed help nobody gave. The veterans he plays dog with needed help the system couldn't provide fast enough. We're all just broken people stumbling around. Try not to hurt each other worse. The hospital door opened again. Dr. Martinez entered, still in surgical scrubs, looking exhausted. Mrs. Chun, she said, approaching the bed. I have news about Bella. Maggie's hand flew to her mouth. Eden held his breath. The surgery took 4 hours. We had to amputate her left hind leg. The damage was too extensive to save. She lost a dangerous amount of blood and went into cardiac arrest twice on the table. Dr. Martinez paused. But she's alive, stable. She's going to survive. Maggie burst into tears. Eden felt his own eyes burn. Even Rothschild looked away, wiping his face. She'll need months of rehabilitation, Dr. Martinez continued. Learning to walk on 3 legs, physical therapy, pain management. It won't be easy, but German shepherds are resilient. With proper care, she can live a full life. Can I see her? Maggie asked. Not yet. She's in recovery, but soon. Dr. Martinez smiled. She's a fighter, Mrs. Chun. The moment she regained consciousness, she was looking for her puppies. That's a good sign. Strong maternal instinct means strong will to survive. After Dr. Martinez left, Maggie looked at Rothschild. My dog just lost a leg saving her babies from a situation she ended up in because of Marcus Kane's choices. I have every reason to hate him, every legal right to see him punished to the fullest extent. She took a shaky breath. But Michael asked me to love him, and my heart can't hold any more hate. It already almost killed me today. Rothschild sat in silence for a long moment. Then he opened his briefcase, pulled out a document, and methodically tore it to pieces. That was the victim impact statement I planned to read at Kane's sentencing, asking for maximum penalty. He dropped the pieces in the trash. I'll call the DA in the morning. Tell her I'm dropping charges. Thank you, Maggie whispered. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this to be noble. I'm doing it because I'm tired of being angry. Punishing people won't bring my wife back. He stood, extended his hand to Maggie again. I'm sorry for your loss. All your losses. I'm sorry for yours, too. After Rothschild left, Eden sat beside Maggie's bed. Max had fallen asleep, curled against her, tiny chest rising and falling in perfect peace. What happens now? Maggie asked. I don't know, Eden admitted. Even if you and Rothschild drop charges, there are still 21 other victims. The DA might prosecute anyway, and Marcus broke the law. That's not in question. But his reasons don't legally matter. I know that's not fair, but it's reality. Maggie was quiet for a moment. Eden, in my bedside table drawer, there's something else. An envelope labeled from Marcus Kane. Can you give it to him? Eden retrieved it. What is it? Michael's Purple Heart. The army sent it to me, but it should go to Marcus. Michael would want to have it. Will you take it to the jail? Tell Marcus I need to see him, that I have something to give him for my son. Maggie, I don't think they'll let me. Please, before they transfer him to state custody or wherever they send people awaiting trial. Please, Eden. He looked at this elderly woman who'd lost everything and chosen forgiveness, who'd had a heart attack and woken up thinking about healing the man who'd traumatized her. I'll try. Eden drove to the county jail as sunset painted the mountains gold and orange. He carried Michael's Purple Heart in his pocket, feeling the weight of it against his chest. At the front desk, he asked to see Marcus Kane. Visiting hours are over, the desk sergeant said. I'm a federal ranger. This is related to the case. The sergeant made a call, then nodded. 15 minutes. They led Eden to a small visiting room, divided by plexiglass. Marcus was brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed. He looked 10 years older than this morning. When he saw Eden, confusion crossed his face. Did something happen? Is Bella? Bella survived surgery. She lost a leg, but she's going to live. Marcus slumped with relief. Thank God. Thank God. I came to tell you something. Eden pulled out the envelope and held it up to the glass so Marcus could see the purple heart inside. "This is Michael Chen's. Maggie wants you to have it." Marcus stared at the medal, tears streaming down his face. "I don't deserve. She also wants to see you. She's been trying to find you for 3 years. Marcus, she has a letter from Michael. He wrote it before he died. He wanted her to take care of you. That's impossible. After what I did, she's dropping all charges. And Samuel Rothschild is too." Marcus looked up sharply. "Rothschild? Why would he?" "Because Maggie asked him what you wanted to be. Someone who hurts from their pain or someone who heals. He chose healing." Eden pressed his palm against the glass. "You're not alone anymore, brother. You have family. Broken family, but family. Now you just have to decide. Are you going to accept it?" Marcus placed his cuffed hands against the glass, matching Eden's gesture. "I don't know how. None of us do," Eden said. "But we'll figure out together." 6 months had transformed everything. Eden stood at the entrance of what had been Maggie's isolated cabin, and was now the Michael and Duke Legacy K9 Training Center. The February morning was crisp and clear, mountains rising like cathedral spires against an impossibly blue sky. Behind him, the sound of laughter, actual laughter, echoed from the new training facility. The community had rallied in ways Eden never imagined possible. After the story broke, elderly widow forgives dog thief who saved her pet. Donations flooded in. A local contractor volunteered labor. Veterans organizations contributed materials. In 4 months, they transformed 8 acres of Maggie's property into a professional therapy dog training center. Marcus emerged from the main building, no longer wearing an orange jumpsuit but jeans and a navy blue jacket embroidered with the center's logo, a German Shepherd silhouette overlaid with a purple heart. He completed his sentencing 2 weeks ago. The judge had accepted a plea deal, thanks to Maggie and Rothschild dropping charges and 20 other victims following suit. 5 years probation, 2,000 hours of community service, all to be served here, doing exactly what he'd been doing illegally, but now with proper oversight and licensing. Morning, Marcus called, looking healthier than Eden had ever seen him. The haunted shadows were still there. PTSD didn't vanish, but they'd lightened. He smiled occasionally now, slept more than 3 hours a night, attended therapy twice weekly. Morning, housed a new class, 12 veterans, 12 rescue dogs. Same beautiful chaos as always. Marcus grinned. Mrs. Patterson's golden retriever just learned to censor panic attacks. She cried for 20 minutes straight. Happy tears, the best kind. They walked together toward the training yard where Maggie sat in her wheelchair, supervising a group exercise. She'd recovered from the heart attack, but remained fragile. The doctor said her heart had permanent damage. She'd never regained full strength, but her spirit had grown stronger than Eden thought possible. "Eden, Marcus," she waved him over. "Come see what Bella just did." Bella lay in the center of the training yard, surrounded by 5 dogs in training. Not her puppies, but rescues from shelters. She wore a vest marked instructor and moved with remarkable grace on 3 legs. The amputated leg hadn't slowed her at all. If anything, she'd become more patient, more nurturing. The other dogs watched her demonstrate a downstate command, then mimicked her perfectly. "She's teaching them," Eden marveled. "Best instructor we have," Maggie said proudly. "The veterans relate to her. She's injured, adapted, thrives anyway. She's proof that broken doesn't mean finished." Eden looked around the yard. Max, now 8 months old and nearly full grown, worked with a veteran named James, an Army sergeant who'd lost both legs in Fallujah. Max was learning search and rescue protocols, already showing the same courage he'd demonstrated as a 6-week-old puppy. He'd be certified within 2 months, becoming Eden's official K9 partner. The other 4 puppies from Bella's litter were scattered across the facility. Scout worked with female Marine learning to manage her PTSD. Ranger partnered with an Air Force veteran struggling with TBI. Duke Jr., named for Marcus's fallen partner, trained with a Navy corpsman who had survivor's guilt, and Hope, the puppy Marcus had originally kept for himself, now worked with Samuel Rothschild. That had been the biggest surprise. Rothschild had visited the center 3 months ago, asking quietly if he could adopt a dog. Not for breeding, not for showing, for companionship. Marcus had given him hope without hesitation. Now Rothschild came twice weekly for training sessions, and the transformation was startling. The rigid, angry man had softened. He'd even donated $50,000 to the center's operating fund. "He's in the office," Maggie said, reading Eden's thoughts. "Wants to talk to you both about something." They found Rothschild at the desk, reviewing paperwork. He looked up and smiled, something Eden never thought he'd witness. "Good, you're both here. I have a proposal." He slid documents across the desk. "I'm closing my breeding operation permanently. Those dogs deserve to be companions, not commodities. I want to donate my entire facility, kennel equipment, land, to the Legacy Center. Marcus stared. Samuel, that's worth $500,000 conservatively. I know. Rothschild's voice was quiet. My wife loved dogs, not for their pedigree. Just loved them. I lost sight of that. Turned them into investments. Hope reminded me what they're really for. He pulled out a photograph, himself and his late wife, younger, happy, with a mutt of indeterminate breed. That was Charlie. $15 adoption fee from a shelter. My wife's favorite dog ever. Not worth anything on paper. Worth everything to her. Rothschild cleared his throat. I'd like to establish the Emma Rothschild Memorial Fund through the center, supporting veterans who can't afford therapy dogs. Making sure nobody has to steal because the wait list is too long or the cost too high. Eden felt his own throat tighten. Emma would have loved that. Both Emmas. Speaking of, Marcus said, pulling an envelope from his pocket. This came today from the state licensing board. He opened it, hands shaking slightly. The letter was formal, official. Eden read over his shoulder. Mr. Marcus Kane, your application for licensed therapy dog trainer certification has been approved. Additionally, your petition to have your prior felony conviction reduced to misdemeanor status based on rehabilitation and community service has been granted by the court. Marcus sat down heavily. I have a record still, but not a felony. That means I can vote again, get a passport. I'm not a felon anymore. Maggie wheeled herself over and took his hand. You were never what that label said you were. Now the law agrees. The office door burst open. Dr. Emma Martinez entered. Excited. Sorry to interrupt, but I have news about Bella. The regenerative therapy worked. Her muscle tone in the remaining legs has improved 30%. She's compensated, so well she could probably handle breeding one more time if... No, Marcus said immediately. She's earned her retirement. Let her teach. That's enough. Dr. Martinez smiled. I thought you'd say that. Just wanted you to know the option exists. She paused. Also, there's someone here to see the center. She's from the governor's office. A woman in a business suit entered carrying a proclamation. Margaret Chun, Marcus Kane, Eden Hayes. I'm here on behalf of Governor Richardson. She's been following your story and wanted to recognize the work you're doing. She unfurled the proclamation and read, whereas the Michael Duke Legacy K-9 Training Center has served 47 veterans in 6 months, and whereas this program has demonstrated measurable positive outcomes in reducing veteran suicide and PTSD symptoms, and whereas this center represents the best of Colorado values, redemption, service, and community, now, therefore, I, Governor Jennifer Richardson, do hereby proclaim February 14th as Service Dog Awareness Day in Colorado and recognize the Michael Duke Legacy Center as a model program for the nation. Maggie wept. Marcus couldn't speak. Eden accepted the proclamation with shaking hands. After the official left, they stood together in silence. Michael would be so proud, Maggie finally said. Duke, too, Marcus added. Eden looked at Max, sleeping now beside Bella. Emma always said I needed to learn when to break the rules. Took me 3 years and one very stubborn puppy to figure out what she meant. That evening, they held a small celebration. The 12 veterans currently in training gathered with their dogs. Maggie sat at the head of the table, flanked by Marcus and Eden. Bella rested at Maggie's feet. Max curled beside her. James, the double amputee veteran, stood to speak. 6 months ago, I had a gun in my mouth. My family was planning my funeral. Then a stubborn German shepherd named Max showed up and refused to let me quit. He wiped his eyes. You three didn't just save dogs. You saved us, all of us. One by one, the veterans shared their stories. Emma, named for 2 women she'd never met, talked about sleeping through the night for the first time in 3 years. Robert described reconnecting with his children. Amy spoke about leaving her house without panic attacks. Each story was a life reclaimed. Each dog a bridge back to the world. After dinner, Eden walked the ground with Max. The puppy, now nearly full-grown, stayed close, alert and protective. They reached the memorial Marcus had built, a bronze statue of a soldier and a canine standing together. The plaque read, Michael Chun and Duke, they died protecting those they loved. Their legacy lives in every life we save. Love never dies. It transforms. Eden's phone buzzed, a text from his supervisor. Eden, we need you for search and rescue tomorrow. Missing child. Red Feather Lakes area. Can Max deploy? Eden looked down at Max. The dog looked back with absolute trust. Yeah, Eden texted back. We're ready. He thought of Emma, of Michael, of Duke, of all the broken people who'd somehow built something beautiful from their pain. Max pressed against his leg, and Eden smiled. Come on, partner. We got work to do. They walked back toward the lights of center, where Maggie and Marcus were teaching veterans how to heal one dog at a time, where broken people learned they could still be whole, where love, fierce and unbreakable, proved stronger than any rule, any law, any loss. The puppy who traveled 8 miles through a blizzard had saved more than his mother that frozen morning. He'd saved them all. The end. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do isn't following the rules. It's breaking them for love. This story reminds us that life's greatest moments come when we choose connection over caution, forgiveness over bitterness, and hope over despair. Eden spent 3 years hiding behind protocol after losing his wife, convincing himself that structure would protect him from pain. Maggie survived on memories alone, her heart literally breaking from loneliness. Marcus carried guilt so heavy it twisted his judgment, making him believe stolen good deeds could erase the past. But a 6-week-old puppy named Max showed them all something profound. Love doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't follow procedure. It doesn't ask if it's convenient. He just knew his mother needed saving, and he refused to quit until help came. That same fierce, unconditional love transformed 3 broken people into family. It gave 47 veterans reasons to keep living. It proved that our darkest moments can become our greatest purpose. If we're brave enough to let others in, we're never too broken to heal. We're never too old to start over. We're never too hurt to love again. The question is, are we brave enough to try? What would you have done in Eden's position? Followed protocol or trusted your heart? Have you ever experienced a moment when breaking rules was the right choice? Share your story below. We'd love to hear how love changed your life.